Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Formula A. We are back after summer break and a little pause. We are going to do a quick Spa rundown, the Zandvoort review, and the Monza preview. But before we even talk about Monza, I am one happy Red Bull boy with a double Dutch win.
Double Dutch.
What was it? Double Dutch Delight or something?
Yeah, double Dutch delight.
So, yeah, we missed Belgium, unfortunately, but quick little thing. Max is just stupid fast. Red Bull's stupid fast.
Yeah, that's
all there is for Spa.
That's
Moving
Spa,
on.
yeah. Well, thanks for coming.
Is there... Actually, no, hold on. Before we go past Spa.
Okay.
Fernando Alonso's radio message. What's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
I forgot about that. That was cheeky from him. It's what you'd expect from Fernando, though.
Yeah,
it was funny. It was good. He apologized. I don't think his apology was sincere, though.
No.
I think he meant what he said.
Yeah.
But he had to apologize to keep face.
Yeah, I did like Lewis signing the hat or whatever and giving it to him.
Yeah.
That was funny. But I think, heat of the moment, everybody says some stuff. I think he even backed down on it a little bit after the race, but I mean, it was clearly Hamilton's fault, and he even admitted it. So
yeah,
that's that. Water under the bridge, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your Spa review. Zandvoort. This will take a little more time, I think.
I don't know. I didn't really get to see the race. I just looked at a bunch of orange smoke.
Oh,
they weren't that bad during the race, were they?
No. Well, there was a couple hooligans.
That was in qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay, that was qualifying.
Beyond stupid. So, not impressed with the Orange Army. There's been 3 incidences now this year. Harassment in Austria. Burning of Mercedes merchandise in Hungary, and now throwing flares on track. So, it's a really bad look on all of us Orange Army listeners because we look like idiots. So smarten the hell up. But you know what?
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and this is the truth. The people who do that, they're not real F1 fans.
That's a good point.
I also just don't understand. Think about the people that are paying. Going to an F1 race is not cheap. It is not cheap whatsoever. No. And imagine your hard-earned money goes, and you are just covered in orange smoke. You go for the experience, yes, but you also want to be able to see what's happening on the track.
Absolutely.
You could look in the grandstands, and they are fully smoked out.
Yeah.
After the victory lap, I'm not even talking the end of the race. After the cool-down lap, when they're in Parc Ferme, light them off.
Yeah.
This race is over. Weekend's over. Whatever. The end of qualifying. Last cars are in. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I also want to know how they're getting these things in. What is security saying that, I'm pretty sure flares are banned. And it's you can give up your flares if you want.
If you want.
Okay,
I don't think they have security like a concert.
Well, you still have to go through the security gates.
So I went to Yas Marina in 2013. That's cool. Almost 10 years ago. Yeah, and that security was nuts. That was crazy. They do full-on bomb checks. So I it's obviously different depending on the region you're in, or different track organizers, event organizers, whatever. They're all gonna have their own different security, but yeah, I imagine the Dutch one was probably pretty lenient.
Yeah,
you can give it if you want.
It would appear that way.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't bring a flare? Here, I got you. Do you want an orange one, or an orange one?
Yeah.
All right, here's an orange one.
Bright orange, medium orange.
Yeah. Yeah, but clearly by the orange smoke.
Yeah.
It was a pretty obvious victory.
Yes.
Yeah, good on McLaren. It's nice to see them back on top.
Yeah, the papaya was in full force. All the stands full of it.
Echoing that funny Lando comment.
He loves.
Was that 2020? That was 2020.
Yeah, I think he threw another one in this weekend too. Actually,
that's good.
Just about being all the orange. It's pretty untouchable now. Nobody's touching Max anymore.
So are we calling it? I wanted to ask you to that.
Yeah.
Is there any way this championship swings?
Oh no. God, no. I know Binotto or whatever came out and said, we intend to win every single race we have left. Well, intentions and stuff actually happening is two different things.
No, Red Bull's walked away with this thing, which is what, I think it's really stupid how I'm sure you guys have heard the conspiracy of the AlphaTauri Yuki Tsunoda incident.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys really think Red Bull is stupid enough to do something like that with a 100-point lead in the championship? And not 100 points from Ferrari. Max is 100 points clear of his teammate.
Yes.
Like, you really think Red Bull's going to throw away a position where Max can DNF for 4 races and Sergio can win all 4 of those races and nothing will change in the championship?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a great point. Like, so the context to that was obviously, like, there was the bizarre incident with Tsunoda at the end where he claims the wheel isn't put on properly. The team says it is. He goes back out and does like a 5-minute lap time, comes back in. They fix his seat belts for some reason, and they send him back out.
He loosened off his own seat belts.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he thought he was going to get out.
That makes a lot of sense.
So he was halfway through getting
Yeah.
out, and then the team goes, because he yelled, tires are not fitted.
Right.
And then they said, okay, checking, and he was already off on the side of the road. Begins unbelting. Halfway through, they go, data says tires are fine.
Yeah.
Come to pits. So, okay. Can't retighten them himself, I guess, the way they're configured in the seat.
Yeah.
So off he goes. Trundles along to the pits. They put on new wheels, tighten them back up, look at some stuff on his steering wheel, and then off he goes. Same problem. And you can see it as clear as day on camera when he leaves the pits. Like,
Yeah.
that car is not right. It was like catwalking.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was a diff, which felt like a tire, which is totally understandable. And then, trundled along. Just can't block the pit lane. Got out on track. Sandervoort's very tight, and there's really not a lot of places to just get off, especially on bank corners. So he got through what he could and found the nearest open slot on track, and that was that.
Yeah, so somehow they think that Red Bull ordered AlphaTauri to bin Tsunoda to get the safety car to bring Max back up to Lewis, which just...
I mean, Max would have gotten past Lewis anyways.
I think it probably would have happened regardless.
This happens with everybody when they're being dominant. People try to find things to haul them down about, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm guilty for it too with when Hamilton, and I can't believe I'm saying this, when Hamilton used to be dominant. Oh, that just has such
Used to be?
Yeah,
All
it has
right.
such a
Yeah,
ring
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
I can say that over and over. Back when Hamilton used to be dominant. Can I do it one more time? Back when Hamilton used to be dominant.
That's the end, yeah.
Yeah, you like Brazil, watching him in Brazil just last year. I'm like, that's a cheat. That's a cheater engine. They're doing some Ferrari stuff to that. But then I thought about it after the fact. I'm like, yeah, I sound like an idiot. He just had an amazing drive, and it was a brand new power unit, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And I like that's emotions too. You want your
Yeah.
guys to win,
Yeah.
obviously, but for people, the tinfoil hat army, they come out and start like hurling insults at the strategist or whatever. It's just stupid. It's just so dumb. And
I mean, Merc did kind of do something interesting with their strategy. They pulled a Ferrari,
yeah,
and
they did.
literally everyone was on softs, and like, no, Lewis, you can just stay there.
I get it, though, because in my opinion, whether it was time to help Mercedes or not, or there was no VSC, Max was getting by them. Whether
Max
it
was getting by no matter what, but Lewis could have ended up on the podium if he was on softs.
But
Yeah.
shall we go back in time? When was the last time a safety car... You know where I'm going with this.
The whole
When is the
world
last
knows.
time, does anyone recall, Mercedes chose track position over fresh tires on a safety car?
We are going to lose all of our listeners right now.
Anyway, I'm not
Just
even going to
can't-
finish my sentence. Moving on. But anyway, they took a gamble. Respects for trying. George wasn't feeling it.
It's
Went against the team, and it worked. So kudos to George on that call, because that second place was extremely impressive.
yeah. I mean, you do what you have to do for your own race. It was just kind of bizarre. It seemed to me that, you had a blocker with Russell to sort of defend Hamilton, and they chose not to use it.
But
That was just-
realistically, he would have held him up for 1 or 2 laps, and Max would have
Yeah,
gotten
there was
Lewis.
other guys behind. I mean, like maybe you could have stopped Leclerc, could have held a double podium, maybe.
Yeah.
I do kind of like Toto's answer. Like, look, like we took a gamble, it didn't work. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I respect that. might as well take risks. Sometimes they're going to work, sometimes they're not. They're not in the championship fight, so
Yeah.
right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay with that answer.
Well, no, it's cool
It's-
seeing different teams trying stuff with strategy, like the Danny Rick 5-stop strategy. That was an interesting one.
Oh
I didn't
man!
wanna
Do we even open that? Should we open that can of worms right now?
The Danny Rick.
The
worm?
Danny Rick.
Yeah.
The Danny Rick worms.
Just-
The overflowing can of worms.
I
It's-
don't even know.
I got a hot take of where he should go next. Or it's not really a hot take, but I have my opinion on where he should go next.
Oh, I have-
Retirement?
No, just go to a new series. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's
eight
yeah.
races. The only place you can go from here, in my opinion, I hate to say this, is down.
Yeah.
'Cause you're not going to go back to AlphaTauri, the junior team you started in.
No.
You're not going to go back to the Helmut Marko, Christian Horner umbrella.
And dude, he's not going to go back to Alpine.
So yeah,
Yeah,
both of
that's
those
pretty clear
options, yeah, that's like you're
And
walking
then-
back with your tail tucked between your legs.
And what are you going to do? Go to Haas to fight for P13? Just
Personally,
Yeah.
I'd rather see him go to IndyCar or NASCAR or go
I don't
to
see why he
Supercar at
wouldn't do
home.
an American series. He loves the States.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's not F1, but do
And
you
he-
have a
He'd
choice
be an
at this
instant
point?
Success there.
Instant
like-
success.
Yeah, I get that it's a pride thing too. Like F1's the pinnacle, it always will be, and like you don't want to leave it. But at some point, it's gonna come to an. All good things do come to an end,
Yeah.
and I think his time is up personally, and
Yeah.
I think he'd have a lot of fun in IndyCar.
So hear me out. The Red Bull, when he drove Red Bull with Max, that was a very trigger happy, rear end happy, on the nose car, correct?
Yeah.
We've talked about it even before on our podcast. Indy cars are extremely slippery. So in theory, that should be a car he likes.
Well,
So
we were
in
just
theory, yeah.
talking before the podcast that I think it was Ryan that brought it up. Someone did like some statistic that showed Indy cars have 60% less grip around. Was it Coda?
Yeah, the shared
Yeah.
track. They have like their grip coefficient. Something like that.
Yeah, so I think he'd be well suited for the car. He's well suited for the country.
Yeah.
I think it has Ricciardo written all over on it. I don't know why you can't see that.
And I genuinely like him as a person. Obviously, my dog's named after him. So I would hate to see him like just knock on wood, and I don't even want to say this about him, but hypothetically, imagine he went to Haas and got beat by Magnussen.
I wouldn't be that surprised, to be honest.
But it would just be devastating for him
Yeah.
and his rep. Like, just call it after McLaren. McLaren is a legendary team of legendary status. You put your Monza trophy beside Senna's. Just the last year sucked, but just go out. Like,
Yeah.
go out with your head up.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he got quite the payout. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I mean.
sure.
Yeah,
Sniffling in $1,000 bills and just.
yeah. I think he, like, look. I mean, that's Zandvoort effort. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I like Ricciardo too, and I love McLaren, but he was terrible this weekend.
Terrible.
I can't sugarcoat
Terrible.
it. And I mean, when you're having 5 pit stops and they just keep throwing every tire they have in the garage on your car, that's and nothing is working. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
And when your teammate comes in.
P8, I think it was after the.
I thought it was.
I think he was 7.
Oh,
I
was
think
it
he was
7?
7. I
Yeah.
think.
Hold on, I can actually look on my phone this podcast.
Yeah, after the penalty.
It was P7.
After the
Yeah.
penalty
Oh.
to poor Carlos, which was not even his fault.
Speaking of pulling a Ferrari, you know who also pulled a Ferrari this weekend?
Who?
Ferrari.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, the wheel gun launching Sergio.
Yeah. Before that, just
I'm not blaming Ferrari for that one.
but-
I'm blaming Xander for it, but we'll move on. Finish your.
quick shout out. We'll get right back to that Zandvoort. We're on the topic of Ferrari blunders. I did, because we didn't have a spa debrief, just wanted to shout out to the Leclerc pit stop at the end
I
of
don't
Spa.
have my glasses.
It was Norris P7.
It's Norris P7,
okay.
yeah. But yeah, shout out to the Leclerc pit stop at the end of Spa that cost him P5 and put him down to P6. That was just a glorious blunder. And we got another amazing pit stop blunder this weekend.
Who caught? You jogged my memory from
Yeah.
Spa. Who ended up catching Bottas and knocking him out of the race? Was it Latifi?
Latifi,
Yeah.
at Spa, yeah.
Sick.
The spin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ferrari's just a train wreck still. It's
Yeah.
just every single week they managed to outdo themselves.
Don't worry, nothing should need to change.
Yeah.
Strategy number 1 for Ferrari.
You
we
can.
have plan F for fail.
Plan for
I know they had a hot start, but you can look at the season overall compared to the last 2 seasons. They're still on an upwards trajectory. They are still on an upwards trajectory.
That being said, but at some point you have to be like, you don't always come across a championship caliber car.
But maybe it wasn't a championship caliber car because
I think it was until Red Bull caught up.
Yeah.
But I was about to say, it looks like they're falling. They're not keeping up in the development,
But they're not. They still have great pace in qualifying.
Yeah.
Their
qualifying.
race,
That's not
but their
everything.
race pace is still pretty good until they manage to ruin
I
every
take that back. Yeah.
single pit stop. Whether it's we don't have enough tires. We're gonna pull you in double stack. Actually, we're not going to. Or telling Carlos to box while he's in the middle of a battle. Like
Or using like wets instead of intermediates when it's 40 degrees and sunny. And
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
No one caught the intermediate.
Yeah. But yeah, or like, come on, like that pit stop was just how, like, there's so many.
How do you forget a tire?
That's the thing. There's so many guys on doing these pit stops. Everybody has their one job. One guy just has to put the tire on. You have one piece of equipment.
Well,
How do you walk out and realize I do not have the one thing I need to do in my job?
I get it. Actually, I do. You got to put down your coffee. You got to put down your prosciutto.
The Americano.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got to put down your meatball, and then like there's a lot.
Yeah. So this is too much to process in that
I know
Ferrari
this.
garage.
How you think I can eat my caprese when I have the tire in my hand? I need to put the tire. And why don't we just hire Guido? It's one guy. He do the whole pit stop for Lightning McQueen. He's so much faster than the Ferraris.
That was good.
That was good.
So speaking of Italians, who do you think has a bigger following these days? Tifosi or the obnoxious army?
Whoa.
That's-
Interesting use of the word obnoxious for your own fan base.
Yes,
Very
I
interesting.
think they've earned it. Not all of them, but there's been a few that stick out and have ruined it kind of for all
I
of
mean,
us.
look, Max has like Tiesto on and guys on, and Martin Garrix on his side. DJs, he's pretty
That's
big.
pretty cool. Yeah.
But
I think we have to wait till after the weekend to answer this because we have to keep in mind we've had all 7 of Max's home races kind of back to back to back,
yes,
right?
7.
but that's the thing.
Well, he's got Austria as a home race, Spa
Yeah.
as a home race,
Yeah.
Zandvoort as a home race, but geographically
That's
it's all
3.
it's okay.
You can
You
count
can-
just as good as Ferrari.
Okay, but hear me out on this. Every
One
driver
of the tire,
has
two
one
of the tire, three of the
one
tire.
nationality, and here's Max like, yeah, I'm feeling Dutch today, but I'm also Austrian. I'm also a little bit from Belgium.
So
what I mean?
I'll
It's
say
just
this
like-
without trying to be offensive, and I won't swear.
okay.
I've been talking with some European friends and watching the race with a Frenchman and a British man, and they explained how the Dutch are back home, and he kind of explains it as that is the Florida of Europe. So they're a crossbreed between British and German, and they live in a swamp, and they are not afraid to party and have their presence be known like a Florida man. So
Well,
Yeah.
to our Dutch listeners, it was nice knowing you, and thanks for sticking around up until this point. That's an interesting take. I respect.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. Florida can be
No.
a good place.
Florida's a fun
Yeah,
place. Yeah, there's
everyone
nothing
goes
wrong
there
with
to
that.
retire, and
There's nothing wrong with that. To your original point though, I still think that Tifosi's bigger.
yeah.
You'll see when we get to Monza. I mean, Imola was like just packed with Tifosi.
Yeah, it's
Just
true.
every
yeah,
grandstand-
There's
every
red
grand-
flares.
Yeah.
It was red flares.
Yeah,
was
there
red
was.
flares.
Every grandstand had Ferraris. You could see the horse everywhere.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. So the last 3 races geographically have been very easy for Dutch fans to get to, right? That's why
That's-
why
good
it's so
point.
fresh in our mind that we just see the Orange Army everywhere is because the last 3 races geographically have been smack dab in the middle. All the Dutch fans can go there.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And what I was to add to that is like, if you go to these races like Belgium and Zandvoort and Austria where it's just close to Max's home, then yeah, like you said, it's really easy to get there. So of course it's going to be overwhelmed with orange. But you can go to every single race and you will find tons of Ferrari fans.
That's
Might
true.
not be in the same quantity as Max fans at those other races, but like our own race in Montreal, like, that's got to be one of the biggest like Ferrari fan bases anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's some grandstands that are just all Ferrari
A
fans.
lot of Hamilton fans in Canada too.
Yes.
A
yes.
lot of Hamilton.
A lot of blessed people in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that meme on F1 Troll where it's like, I can't believe you guys blessed me. How could you guys bless me?
Yeah. I can't even tell you how blessed I am right now.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
I
Poor,
love that
yeah,
stuff.
poor Lewis.
Hashtag blessed.
Poor Lewis is feeling what Valtteri went through for how many years was it he was at Mercedes? But yeah, he's sort of feeling like, oh, I guess this is what happened to Valtteri. Yeah. Just,
Wait, he didn't say that, did he?
no.
Oh.
I'm saying poor.
Oh,
No, I'm saying poor Lewis. He's now.
imagine he made that jab at the team.
Yeah.
Oh, he would never do that.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody had immunity to say stuff like that, it would be Hamilton, but he would.
Yes.
He would never. He's got too much respect for Valtteri too. So
I'm also convinced with Toto Wolff, like the way he like always blames everything, and rightfully so. Most of the time, it's not Hamilton's fault, but Hamilton could shoot somebody in the chest, and Toto Wolff be like, "Well, he was standing in front of his gun,
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
kind of his fault."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I had few standouts from Zandvoort. Max, obviously. Ferrari blunders, obviously. Shouts out to Aston Martin. Quick
Yeah.
in Zandvoort. If it wasn't for Vettel's little excursion at the end of Q1 that ruined his lap,
Yeah.
100% both of those cars are in Q3.
Vettel had a pretty bonehead weekend, not gonna lie.
He did have a bonehead weekend. He had the weekend of a guy that's like, I'm retiring and I do not care anymore. I'm just going to do what I want. Yeah. But
I just hope he doesn't do what Kimi did and bottle it at the last race. I'd like to see Vettel finish his last race.
Well, I think we'd all like to see.
I don't really care.
Yeah. I think we'd all like to see. But Lance Stroll, 5 P10s now? Like,
That's 5
some-
more than Nicholas
yeah,
Latifi.
exactly. 5 more than his fellow countrymen.
So are we at the point where we're gonna make a Super Lance song now, or?
Super Lance, yeah.
I mean, he's the best thing Canada's got going right now as far as F1 drivers go.
Oh, that being said, Jacques Villeneuve is testing last year's Alpine at Monza, so
Is that actually? When I read that, that's real.
that is a real thing. I did the exact same thing that you did. I went.
I'm like, ha, that's funny. It's not
I
even April
had to-
1st.
Yeah, I had to double take. But yes, Jacques and his glistening bald head will be in the Alpine. Last year's chassis.
That's really cool. I'm pretty excited for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's
gonna
gonna be
nice.
really cool. So yeah, it's interesting times. We're probably losing Latifi, Canada, but Jacques getting back in the car at like
Well,
50.
do you even think Latifi's gonna score points this year?
No, I think he'll tie Hulkenberg this year.
No. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry to report that, but I mean the Williams is the worst car in the grid. You've got to put in a stellar performance to get a point. Albon's done it a few times this year. I mean, credit to Latifi.
Shout out to Albon the last 2 races.
Yeah.
I don't think did he make points in Spa? No, I don't think he did.
No.
He was close.
Wait, no, he did. Yes, P10.
Yeah,
P10.
yeah, he did
sorry.
get P10.
Yeah, because he had
So,
Q3.
Shout out P10 to Albon.
Yes.
And then I think he came 12th or 13th.
Yeah, he's been
which is really impressive for that car.
He's
So,
been really
great
good.
job.
He's outperforming the McLaren in some aspects. So
Yeah, he was much better than Ricciardo this weekend.
Is his contract like locked and loaded with Williams? He can't move?
Albon, yeah. He
Because
did.
everyone's kind of slept on talking about Albon with all these driver moves.
Yeah.
Like if you're Alpine, why would you not be looking at him? In my hot take.
Interesting.
They've been in the same teams. Who do you think is a better overall driver, Gasly or Albon?
that's a tough one.
That's
Wow.
a tough one.
Because Gasly hasn't been overly impressive this year, to be honest. Like, there's no
No,
stand.
no, he is
And
not.
just to add, not to take away, but to add another hot take to that, I think Tsunoda's been better this year.
Yes, he has.
I can agree.
Yeah.
Especially since he helped out Red Bull so much. What?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So to that point, I would say Albon, I think,
Yeah.
is better overall.
This
Yeah.
year, I'd agree.
I think Albon, now that he's not at Red Bull, he feels like he can really push himself, and he's got something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really wants to show the Red Bull family that, hey, you guys messed up.
Yeah.
You gave up on me too
So
early.
imagine him in the 4th, 5th best car on the grid in a completely new.
I don't think he's the championship material, but he's a good driver.
I not overly impressed with Alpine, but I've never hated them. I don't think the Alpine's going to be a world championship fighting car anytime soon.
No, they're
Yeah.
definitely on the upward trend though.
Yeah, for sure.
They've
they are.
taken a considerable leap. Like I get it. Okay, last year they had a freak win and a Alonso podium, but overall, I think they would much rather take this season without the podiums than last season. Okay, they had a couple podiums, but the car
But
is
they had a podium the year before that, so
Yeah.
maybe is it an upward trajectory they're on, or are they just plateaued?
I think they plateaued.
ooh,
Because
which
you also
would be
have to
really
keep
bad
in
thing.
mind-
You got to
last
remember,
year-
Danny Rick was 5th in the World Drivers' Championship
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
Renault in 2020.
which is
5th
ridiculous.
place in a
That's
Renault.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good. If they have plateaued, that's seriously worrying for them.
It isn't, because they're in a pretty respectable spot.
Yeah.
Like, you look at who they are. And okay, I'll definitely question that in a second.
Yeah.
But who they are and what they have, I guess they do have budget that is equivalent to Mercedes. Or do they use that much budget?
I don't know if they use as much as Mercedes, but Renault is arguably a bigger car company than Mercedes. I mean, I think they sell more cars worldwide.
Really?
Personally, I do. I
Well,
mean,
know they're not on our side of the pond.
they're not, but if you go to Europe, I mean, I was in Europe a few months ago.
It's
Renault is
huge.
everywhere. They're in Asia too. There's tons of them over there too. So
It's
Okay.
like the equivalent of Chevy and Dodge put together.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
okay,
they're
that's
they're
good.
huge, and you gotta
So
think,
they have the
own-
budget.
and you gotta think how much cheaper their cars are compared to Mercedes. They'll sell way more. So, yeah.
So they have the room to spend the budget if they wanted to.
Yes, exactly.
So okay. With that being said,
That being said,
hot take. Well, it's not really a hot take. I think McLaren would become a. I don't know. I just got this little feeling in my gut that McLaren seems slower than it is, unfortunately, because of Danny Rick, and that's tough for me to say.
yeah.
Well, even Lando's struggling. He's yes, he's the only driver outside of the top 3 that has a podium,
which is really impressive.
but he's still not doing
Not the
as
same-
good as, because he had what, like 4 podiums last year.
Oh yeah, and probably should have been a race win too.
Yeah. And let's
Um,
be honest, had he gotten through qualifying in Spa, he probably would have secured pole there,
Yeah,
which inadvertently would have been his first win as well.
yeah. So, I mean, he's even
Oh my
admitted the
God.
car's not as good as it was last year. He's admitted that it's not a good car. So I think they just want to move on to next year, get the new Aussie in there, swap one Aussie out for another.
Yeah, nah, Piastri's probably going to give him a run for his money, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not in the first year.
Not in the first year.
No. I
Interesting.
was just
know.
looking at a stat. McLaren has 101 points in the championship. Lando has
82?
82.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just so
That is an
not good.
ugly
That is so
stat.
not good.
He's got 80% of the
By the
points.
way, Esteban and Ocon 66, Fernando Alonso 59.
Yeah, I want to get to
He
Ocon.
will surpass Ocon by Japan. Right at that.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, the contract board, they favored McLaren. Alpine made a terrible mistake. That's why I was chuckling before, but respectful. From Alpine's side, they don't know legal stuff apparently, and they let their Wonder Boy go to McLaren because of just not good contract writing, I guess.
Or benching a F2 champion 2 years in a row. That's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
dumbest
just
thing.
stupid.
It's like that meme of Eric Andre where he's like shooting Hannibal Buress, and it's like benching an F2 champion, and he turns around and looks all at the camera, all concerned, like, why did he leave?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like,
Well, did you see the one I made? The bicycle meme? Yeah.
yes, yeah,
I made a meme. It was the stick going in the bicycle spokes. So the stick was benching a F2 champion for 2 years, and then when the guy's on the ground, it says bleeping McLaren.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So McLaren, you don't hate McLaren.
No.
That was a
They saw an
brilliant,
You saw an
Opportunity and
opportunity,
they took
take it. That's
Yeah.
Zach Brown for you, baby.
yeah, and they switched.
Mr. Steal Your Driver. That is
Yeah, so he's just that was a sick deal, and that Norris and Piastri combo, it's gonna be really fast, I think.
Yeah.
But it might be really toxic too.
But so getting back to where you guys were saying you don't think he'll perform well in his first season. Look at his track record.
I think he will.
F4,
That's on him. That's on him.
F4, Formula 4 rookie champion, Formula 3 rookie champion.
Hold on, time out. I didn't say he wouldn't perform, but he's not going to be on Lando's level. Let's restate that. But anyway, continue your...
I
Okay.
still I think he's going to get close to Lando in the first year.
Okay. I hope you prove me wrong.
I hope so. Well, I mean, I'm a Lando fanboy, but I think it's going to be a spicy mix. Because Oscar has something to... He's been on the sidelines for 2 years. He's not coming in and dipping his toes. He is doing a double flip off the diving board and going full tilt.
Apparently that's not his style. Apparently he's a very smooth
operator.
Yeah. Like, to quote the Race F1 podcast, he's a very Alain Prost
Oh,
yeah.
The professor.
style. Yeah, very Alain Prost style.
The professor. Yeah.
Like, not aggressive, super smooth with everything.
I understand.
Adaptable.
I still think he's going to go balls to the wall his first year in F1. Not in an aggressive way, but he is going to drive the wheels off
He's
of
gonna
that
come
car,
with a
and
point
he
to
has
prove, yeah.
exactly. He has a point to prove. He's
Yep.
been on the sidelines for 2 years. He's like, this is what you guys are missing, or we're missing out on.
Yeah, well, that's that point. There's gonna be a lot of pressure on him too, because he's been making waves and working deals, even and like
As my
dabbling
girl,
between two teams.
as my girl Beyonce said, if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it.
Exactly. So Alpine, should
Alpine-
have put a ring on it.
You dabbled too long.
Yeah, they screwed themselves. I mean, if you remember Hamilton's rookie year, he came in with Alonso as Alonso's teammate, and he drove Alonso insane. So, and
Yeah.
he gave Alonso. Well, he beat Alonso actually. So
Yeah.
you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
Hamilton turned out pretty good. So Piastri, who
Did he?
knows? Yeah, I think so. I think he was okay.
Well, if we're talking about
Yeah.
putting rings on things, let's give a quick congratulations to our boy Ryan here.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, Ryan got married a couple weeks ago.
Yep. It is done.
Yep.
Not as tied. Officially married. Thank you for your card, by the way. That was pretty
Yeah, congratulations.
I forgot about
Well, they trusted me alone in the store, so I naturally I almost got the gay one first, but then I was like, that's a little mean to Catherine. So I went to the lesbian section.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That was funny.
I figured you had the skin to take it.
Oh, yeah. It's not
Wow.
offensive. There's nothing wrong with being...
Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that.
No.
Well, I
absolutely
thought
not.
it was 2022. I
Yeah.
never assumed your gender, so I thought I was playing it safe,
Inclusive.
There you go. Okay, moving on before we get banned from everything.
Yeah.
Inclusive.
So in one podcast, we've lost...
Yeah.
The Orange Army, the
Oh, jeez.
the Mercedes fans, the
Australian fans.
Everybody, yeah, this Formula offside, I think. It's yeah. Where were we there? Piastri.
So we're talking about deals. So that was
Yeah.
the solidified deals, which is Piastri. Now we're going to potential deals. So we've talked about potentially Ricciardo going to Haas. I don't think anyone's too interested
I
in it.
don't think it'll happen.
I don't see him, and like that's not a place you want to stay if you're at Ricciardo's status. So where are you gonna go? Like, so okay, let's say hypothetically wipes the floor with K-Mag and pulls something awesome off at Haas, which I hate to say, I don't
Well,
see him. Where's he gonna go? Who's gonna take him from Haas at that age?
everyone's got.
So go
yeah.
back home, go to supercars, go to IndyCar, go to NASCAR.
There's
Head
so
up
many
high.
there's so many options outside of F1
Yeah.
that he should just do, and he's not going to Alpine. That's pretty clear, I think.
And let's be frank, the championship running cars have their futures already. Ferrari's got Leclerc.
Oh my- yeah.
Mercedes has Russell. Red Bull has.
Super
I think, is it Perez, their
Oh.
number one driver?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Yuki. Yeah, Yuki. Yeah.
McLaren's got.
No, sorry. Red Bull's got to be their new number one, Colton Herta.
There you go.
Oh,
and then
yes, there's just so much
McLaren's
going on
got
right now.
Lando. Like all these teams have their.
They got their guy.
They've got their guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's there's no real.
Nicholas Latifi's gonna run Mercedes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
clear cut.
Well, actually, on the topic of the Danny Rick, did you guys see that interview that Lando did where he was basically like, I don't have sympathy for Rick. He couldn't perform and he's lost his seat. Like,
I agree.
it sucks. Like I feel bad that he's in this position, but at the end of the day, that's racing. That's F1. If you can't perform, you can't really
Hang around.
hang around.
I agree. It doesn't matter what your name is or how many wins you have or whatever. That's business.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like Christian
And
Horner
we all know
says-
Zach Brown's a businessman.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman, right? So,
Yeah.
it's tough times for Rick. Alpine though, is that pretty much confirmed Gasly? Do we think?
I don't know, because there's a lot of beef between him and Ocon, so.
Which is fun.
So you're now trusting that the Alpine driver selection department is going to make logical decisions all of a
No.
sudden?
They've got no other option.
No, it's
really.
the French.
It's the French, yeah.
So,
There's
and
another
French
one.
listeners,
There's
Non,
another-
mais
out the
t'inquiète, les Français,
Yeah.
ils sont vraiment débiles.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So yeah, you treat a two-time world champion like poo-poo, and then you treat a up-and-coming F2 champion like poo-poo. They both leave you.
Yeah.
And Guan Yu Zhou says, I'm so happy I left Alpine.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
right.
want to be hearing things like
They
that.
forced Alain Prost out too when he was their advisor. They forced him out.
Yeah,
Four-time
not-
champion, just to
not-
like get out of our face. So
Not a hot look.
there's some toxicity going on there, and it would make it even more interesting if two guys who openly hate each other
Yeah, but
became
Yeah.
teammates.
Gasly is coming from Red Bull, which used to be, still could arguably be, pure toxic if your name's not Verstappen.
Yes, that's true.
fair.
That's true.
So Gasly might walk in and go, I am used to this. Let's go.
no,
Like,
yeah.
oh, you don't like me?
I
That's
am
okay.
s-
I don't like any of you guys.
I
so
am
let's
seasoned.
just.
The only thing is, it might the only thing that might be good is that it might push both of those guys to their absolute best because they want so badly to beat the other guy.
Yeah.
That's true. And-
That's-
But what if Ocon tries to put Gasly in a wall like he did with Alonso?
Alonso.
and
Never
Alpine's
in
going
my
to do absolutely
life.
nothing about it.
Never in my
Like, just
life.
let them race. It's okay.
Yeah, and I mean I'm sorry to Esteban. Great. I think he's a good driver and talented, but there seems to be a bit of a common denominator at this point of forcing guys into walls and having the teammates start to hate you. That's Alonso, Perez. Now we hear Gasly all the way back from karts. So, but again, what makes this so funky with the Gasly thing is that
Opens up an AlphaTauri spot.
well, yeah, and if the IndyCar star Colton Herta can't get the super license, I don't think Red Bull will release Gasly, right? Because
Nope.
they'll say, well, we still need a seat to be filled, so we're keeping Gasly. And then, so it's in Alpine's best interest that Herta gets his super license too,
Yes,
because they need a driver. So it's a whirlwind, man. It's crazy. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Do you guys think Herta should be given a super license exemption?
Absolutely. There's an argument that a series with closer cars that can race closer together with less grip
Yeah,
and more drivers on the grid at once is a harder series to be in.
yeah, and
Cleanly.
he's a race winner in IndyCar.
He's
which
a
is
race
not
winner
easy.
in IndyCar. He fought for the championship last year. He's a little outside it this year.
Yeah,
But yeah, fantastic driver. It would be a shame because I don't think that's the intention of what the super license is trying to police.
yeah.
And that's your cue, Kyle.
Well, it was Domenic. I said this before, and they really want me to bring it back up again. But Domenicali said we have to be careful about giving out exemptions. It could ruin the validity of the super license. And to
who
the
got
point,
who was in F1 last year? Who got their super license, Kyle? Tell the listeners.
the GOAT, the king of Russia, Mazepin. How on earth does somebody like that get a super license? And they're talking about the validity of the FIA or whatever,
No.
and they won't give it to somebody like Herta.
I'm
crazy.
sure they write a fat enough check, the FIA will cave.
Yes.
Yes.
So my question is, what countries do we have left on the globe to piss off in this podcast? I don't think there's many left.
Well, we're going. Where is the F1 circus going to this weekend, boys? Italy.
Italy?
Well, we already made fun of
We've
the,
already kind of touched
yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we rip on Ferrari all the time.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
Okay, hold on. Did everyone see the Ferrari bus that broke down?
Yeah.
On its way to
Yes.
Monza?
Yes.
It's like,
They're
well,
already.
since we are talking about Ferrari, what do we think of the yellow they added to the car?
Love it.
Hold on,
Absolutely
correction.
love
It's
it.
Giallo Modena.
Ma che cazzo fai?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the name of the color. It's a yellow. You look at it from afar. It's a yellow. It's like my piss in the morning. It's like the logo on the Ferrari.
There we
It's
go.
like the livery, the camel. It's the same. It's a yellow.
If your pee is that yellow in the morning, please go to the doctor.
Yeah, I get it's all checked out. But there's yellow on the
I'm
car.
just gonna keep drinking my water and thin it out here.
There's yellow on the car. Is this the secret ingredient that Ferrari needs to win? Is to put yellow on the car? They're running out. I mean, they're running out of ideas.
They're
at
running
this
out of
point.
ideas. Listen, as
Yeah.
long as the car has 4 wheels, I think they're on the right track.
Yes. So, we gotta bring 3 wheels into the pit stops. See what happens.
Well,
I
did you
love-
guys see that meme where it was the Reliant Robin? It's
Oh,
like
yes.
the car Ferrari were expecting at the pit stop.
Yeah. Oh, these
I
guys.
didn't see that one yet.
Oh, it's,
It was
yeah, it's
so
beautiful.
good.
It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've really just tried everything, and everything has not worked. So I guess get the paint out and try that. Should we just get into our predictions? I guess we've got our official Formula A mascot here. Actually, Ricky the dog has come over to join. But maybe we should just get into the predictions right away.
Yeah, why not?
So I'll pull up the graphic here.
Can I change mine? Because, like, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, yeah, Ryan has such a big lead in our little predictions, our point standings. It's like, what, a 40-point lead you have now?
39.
39.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes it better.
Yeah, how humble.
Once I get to 40, I'm just going to throw out absolute curveballs.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll start with mine's because mine's the only one that has a different winner. I'm banking on the yellow paint. I have Leclerc winning.
I hope you're right.
I've got Verstappen in second.
Okay.
In third, I did this before I found out that he has a penalty and will be starting from the back of the grid. Hamilton.
I didn't
So,
know that.
whatever, I'll stick with it. A lot of overtaking at Monza. Maybe he can pull it off, so I'll put him third. Perez fourth. Norris in fifth. Alonso in sixth. Sainz down in seventh. Only one Ferrari at the top. And I've got Yuki in eighth. It's AlphaTauri's home Grand Prix as well, so
Yeah,
shouts out. I have Yuki in eighth.
2020 winners.
We'll do Marcus next because you have a change. So we've got Marcus here pulling up the predictions.
So I've got the curveball winner here, Max Verstappen. I think Charles will have some good luck, I think, and be in second.
That's sad that would be considered a good win. or
Yeah.
good
Well, that
race
just means
from-
Ferrari won't mess up his race, but I think they're going to mess up Sainz's
Yeah.
race. But I also think Russell is going to wrap up the podium. A little bit of a bold one, but we'll see what happens with that. Then Perez will be P4, Sainz will be P5. I'm seeing Alonso P6 because they've got that high-speed performance. I'm
So
really
did Albon.
hoping...
Yeah.
Really hoping Norris can bring it in for P7 and Esteban Ocon will finish P8.
Ocon holding down that P8. Everybody always has Ocon in P8, I think.
And I was kidding about my change because I already submitted it.
Okay.
It could be
Yeah,
a
it's
form
locked
of,
in.
Could be a form of cheating, so I won't do that.
Yeah.
So Red Bull 1-2, Verstappen Perez, Leclerc in third, Alonso fourth, Russell fifth, Sainz
Ooh, Alonso
sixth. I'm
fourth.
actually pretty happy I put Hamilton down in seventh.
Yeah, that's looking pretty
That's
good
looking
now.
promising, and Norris rounding it off at top 8.
Interesting.
Even without the change, like,
Wow. That is...
That's spicy.
I'm pretty confident with your top 8, to be honest.
Alonso
So
P4.
no one has nailed a perfect prediction yet. So we call it a perfect prediction if you can nail the top 3 the right people in the right order. We've gotten the right people scrambled, like really close. I think I had a top 5 where I had all the right people, but a couple were in the wrong places.
Yeah.
No one's landed a perfect yet.
Yeah.
So
This is harder than it looks, people.
it
hard.
is harder than
Yeah.
it looks to like imagine getting all 8.
What if we
Oh,
started
right?
doing our
Oof.
predictions after FP1?
Ooh.
We could that could
do
spice
right?
it up.
We could do
Like
that.
at least we can gauge it better, right? See
Yeah.
how the cars are performing.
Absolutely throw a curveball because you're like, oh, Ferrari's super fast this weekend.
Yeah.
Charles Sainz 1-2. Just kidding.
Yes, but they are the free practice champions all the time, and
Yeah.
then push comes to shove, and they don't do anything. So
Yeah, but at least it lets us look at what race pace is going to look like and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, penalties as well, in
Yeah.
case there are some grid penalties, as we found out this
Well, that
morning.
didn't stop Max
Is there
as
only
well.
is it only
Yes, that's
Hamilton this
true.
weekend?
So far, I believe it's only Hamilton who has, we know for as of right now, has a penalty, and I think this is probably a good track for that to do it, because there's massive DRS zones, huge straightaways.
There are DRS trains here.
There are DRS trains, which is
And you need to have a pretty sized advantage over the other cars to get through.
So
as-
maybe
Yeah.
they'll go risky with the tire strategy.
maybe, yeah.
Just go on like mediums or hards right off the bat. Go long first stint, and then
leave them out there for the safety car.
leave them out there.
Yeah.
Track position.
It's not very hard on the tires, this track, so you
No.
could just start with
It's
hards.
true, actually.
Run them as long as you can, and then just finish off with a banger at the end, just soft right at the
Softs and
end,
just
Yeah.
and just dummy
light
everybody.
fuel and just go nuts.
Yeah, that's Monza's can get pretty spicy for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I wonder if
It's
we're
true.
gonna see any of the top teams go risky with the strategy, or they're just gonna start on softs and go long second stints.
I'll say right now there will be
Mixed.
okay. If we're talking about the big 3 teams, I think at least one driver out of the 6 will start on hards.
Well, Hamilton more than likely, so I think maybe 2.
Okay, so we'll say 2 then. 2 drivers will start on hards from the top 6, the main 6.
If I were Ferrari and they place well, I would go polar opposite strategies and just see how it plays out and
Yeah.
see who favors what. Also, the drivers have a choice, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it doesn't make sense for Mercedes to go aggressive with the softs and then have to pit early and lose all that hard
Yeah.
work.
well, if it's wet, start on mediums. If it's dry, start on
No,
intermediate.
Mercedes, not Ferrari.
Yeah. I'm giving a sneaky shout out to Stroll. That was the only thing I was considering of changing in my top 8.
He could do a sneaky top
Always does good at Monza. I don't know what it is. Always does good. He had a front row start at Monza way back at Williams days. So,
eight. That's right. Good
yes,
memories.
thank you.
And podium in 2020.
Yes. So, who knows?
It's there.
Monza's always a fun one.
He likes the fast tracks.
He does.
Podium at Azerbaijan,
Yeah, he does. So that's a sneaky one to look for. Watch out for Stroll. Of course, if we'd only do top 8 predictions, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in that P9 or P10, though. So look out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fun.
And I think our final shout out, it's not really a shout out, more of a, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Mention?
To the British people.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My condolences to the Queen. Some sad news today, so to
Yes.
the British listeners.
But that
If you
kind
were
of
a big
came out of nowhere, eh? Because on the news this morning, they're like, oh, they're monitoring her health, but everything seems to be fine, this, that. And then, like, next thing you know, Apple News is going crazy, like, sending notifications.
Yeah.
A good buddy of mine who's a coworker, he's British, and he said it was out of the blue, but it wasn't. Like, her health has been on watch for a while, so it wasn't
Yeah.
overly surprising.
96 is a good run, though.
96 is a good run.
I'm sure, like, the cars will be running some sticker or some special
Yeah.
tribute they'll have
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure at Monza.
It's
So,
Hamilton for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Yes, God save the Queen. And yeah, that's a pretty good way to end it, I think.
Yeah.
Good shout out. Yeah, so Monza's going to be fun. Zandvoort actually turned out to be pretty interesting for a relatively boring F1 track. And
Oh yeah, that was one point.
you want to just throw that in quickly?
Yeah, you know what?
I
For
just
a really
remembered
cool
that.
track, it looks cool on paper. It's cool. Two things quickly about the track. It's terrible for overtaking. It actually makes for 2 years in a row kind of boring racing, to be honest. The pit lane.
Incredibly
Open the
nice.
damn pit lane up
Yeah.
and give some more space, because Sergio Perez hit the Ferrari gun not once but twice.
Yeah.
And it could have been so much worse. Like, just hypothetically, imagine the gun, because it's on a hose, a cable. It got wrapped up in the wheel and pulled the car, or it swung out and hit.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been so bad. It really could have.
Yeah.
Or it caused them to spin. It was his rear wheel, and it jackknifed him towards the pit team out of his control.
He
Dangerous.
bounced high.
Yeah, it could have been so bad. So that's a really unsafe for a sport that's like really pushing safety. Almost unacceptable pit, in my opinion. So
Yeah, fantastic hot lap track. Maybe not so good for F1. Yeah,
I could see it when F1 cars were not boats back in the day. It was probably pretty good.
Yeah,
But they're boats now, so we need oceans, not lakes.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
a weird metaphor, but we'll move on. We move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, well,
Yeah. Well, I
on
think
that
we'll,
bombshell,
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess that's that. So enjoy Monza. I guess we'll wrap that up next
Yeah,
week.
and
Dude,
pray for Ferrari for a good home race. That's my last note.
there
so.
we go. All right, everybody, take care, enjoy Monza, and we'll see you next week.